That's how we get on. You think we're
Oh,
kidding,
yeah, you
right?
have to do
You
that. Oh,
have to
that's
do
right. You
it.
used to have problems. You don't have any
I
problems
don't have any
anymore?
problems anymore.
There you
See?
go.
Oh, there's a problem. You didn't feel like you were actually
Oh,
doing it.
I didn't say it, so
Now,
maybe I
there you
need to
go.
say it too.
There we go.
I think
All
that's
right, we're
right.
going to start recording to
Yeah.
the cloud. We should be on. Let's see if that happened. We are. We're on. All right, everybody. Day 6. We are now into day 6 of Go Whiskey Week. Phew, I know I'm sweating too. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe we're into day 6. We did breakfast this morning. We did the radio show. And now my good friend Josh Hatton's here with Single Cast Nation. And basically, I got one whiskey. So I guess that's what we'll go with.
I think that's what we'll go with. Yeah.
Josh, first of all, thank you for coming. I really do appreciate you being here today.
My absolute pleasure.
And now you're going to be here both days. You're here tonight for the meet and greet, and you're here for the Grand Dram.
Correct. Yep.
All right, cool. He's going to be right after the Impacts table, so you're pretty up there. You're like table like 6 or something like that.
There you
You're
go.
good.
All right.
You're up there. And you're going to be here the next couple of days. I don't think the single cast nation is really just really started being available to at retail. You know,
Believe
it's
it or
been
not,
we've
it's
gotten
been
like
8 years.
I know, but we get like okay,
But then COVID happened.
but we get like dribs and drabs. We get
Yes,
like
you get dribs and
some,
drabs, yes.
and then we can't get any. Then we get some more and stuff like that. But I've noticed that not a lot lately. Now we're sort of like now we're really cooking with gas.
Oh,
we
yeah.
get like there's a bunch of stuff we can get now.
Huge difference. Yep. Yep.
Is that because we're out of COVID, or is that because you got your act together?
It's because we got acquired.
Oh, that's it. I forgot money. Money makes stuff.
Money
makes
helps.
stuff.
Yeah,
help.
I mean,
It does help.
For the first, I don't know, 13 years of us being a company, it was just two guys
Right.
who would buy casks on the spot, and whenever we could bottle them, we would. And
I'm just busting your chops
No,
on that, but it is like one of those type of things. It
Yeah.
was a remarkable difference in all of a sudden what we could get.
yeah, and now we just have so much liquid at our disposal. It's shocking. We feel like we've finally grown up.
All right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But not really.
Yeah, I know. I was
Come
like,
on, let's be honest.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we got we got a little lineup here today of stuff that you're going to be going over, and so I figure give everybody sort of the context of what Single Cast Nation does. And I know we're trying a lot of scotch, but it's not limited to that.
Correct. So yeah, first and foremost, we're lovers of Scotch whiskey. That is what we lead with, and I would say 90% of what we do is Scotch whiskey. But we bottled our first bourbon, Heaven Hill, in 2013.
Right.
15 years old, Wild Turkey, MGP, bourbon, rye. But then we've done mezcal, we've done rum,
Right.
we've done malt from all over the world, rye from Australia, cognac. So we bottle stuff that we fall in love with. We just happen to love Scotch a bit more.
Right. So it's really more stuff you guys fall in love with.
Anything anybody tastes here is something that we would want to reach for personally, or we would be proud to pour for a friend.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so let's get going on it. Let's try some because they're gonna get restless. I think they have all the ones out there in front of them, correct? Okay, so the first one I'm going to try is a Royal Brockla,
Yeah.
which is a second fill bourbon hogshead,
Yeah.
2 years, and
Finished in
finished.
that.
It finished that in 2 years. So
Yeah.
what did it start out in?
So it started off in refill bourbon.
Okay,
Like the first cask wasn't doing a lot, but we didn't want a secondary cask covering up the lighter, more gentle Royal Brockla spirit, so we went with a second fill bourbon barrel just to bring a bit of oak into it,
right.
but not hide the spirit.
So the first cast really was starting to act like a neutral container.
It was a vessel.
Yeah,
Right?
to hold the liquid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much what it ended up with. So this is a 9-year-old at 59.2.
Yeah. Yeah, in our first Royal Brockla. So, again, when we were just two guys who would spot buy casks, Royal Brockla is not a distillery you see available.
No.
Most of it is going into some sort of blend. I think there are some of their proprietary bottlings, like a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old, but it's meant to go into like a Dewar's blend. Um,
Well, it's primarily where the liquid goes, right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd see them one-offs, through Gordon MacPhail or Cadden Heads, and so when we joined the ASC family and saw what we had in the inventory, there was like a rake of Royal Broccoli casks, and so we just
Nice.
had to taste through them, and they were all good. That one just
But I think that's sort of there is a class of. I mean, there's so many distilleries in Scotland. Let's start out there. Like what, like 150 or something like that.
about that. Yeah.
And there is a class of those distilleries that really don't sell single malts. I mean, they're not really commercially available. You might be able to get them at the gift shop or something like
Yeah.
that, but not other than that, not really.
Mhm.
And Royal Brockla is one of those
Correct.
whiskeys.
Yeah.
I like how you're doing now. I like the new setup. I like the new informational setup on your whiskeys now
Oh, with the
with the added tasting notes and then
we
like
call
sort
this
of,
our flavometer. This is our
of
flavometer,
course,
everybody.
of course you would.
Yeah, trademark pending, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, you better hurry up and get that before everybody steals that one.
But right, I mean,
Yeah, it's
to
great.
your point about Royal Brockla not really having their own bottlings,
No one knows it.
so no one knows it, and so people may know Single Cask Nation because we've been doing this and we're starting to gain a good reputation. But if they don't know the distillery, we want to give them some sort of clues as to where the flavors lie. So
Right.
it's an 8-point system of various flavors on a 1 to 10 scale. And so you can say, well, I've heard of Single Cask Nation. I've tried their stuff. I like them, but I haven't heard of Royal Brockla. What does it taste like? And you go straight to the flavometer.
All I know is I'm counting dots now. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You don't have to take off your shoes. It only
I know.
goes to 10.
Well, yeah, that's right. When do you see when I get to 11? Anyways, that's really good. I like that one. It's one of those type of things. This is actually a true to distillery flavor.
Yep.
I mean, so sometimes you go like, there's some finishing involved that goes overboard and stuff like that. And if I've never had Royal Brockla, I'm not really looking for something that's outside of the wheelhouse. I'm looking to actually have Royal Brockla. And I
Yeah.
think this does that.
Yeah.
Really
Yep.
good.
Yep.
What do you
That was
guys
the-
think? Delicious? Yep, it's all gone. Huh? Actually, a little bit. So thank you for my lead in. Just add a little water. For the official water of Go Whiskey Week is Icelandic glacial water with a pH of 8.4, and they provided the water for our whole week. So try that. It's actually really good water. So if you're gonna add water, add Icelandic glacial.
Did
My
Bjork-
daughter called me
Did
from.
Bjork drop off the water for you?
She sang us a tune.
She sang
dropped
you
us-
tune.
sang
There
a
you go.
tune.
Okay.
She had that swan thing on again, which was really cool. My daughter actually called me. My friend Kenny is actually on the board, and we love the water. He sent us like samples, and we like really love the water. And my daughter called me the other day from. She goes to down in Tampa. She's like, everybody loves this water, Dad. It's all over the place. It's really really good. And so like. College students, cha-ching, because it's all our money. It's my money. Go, oh, honey, how much did you buy? This is good. I like this one.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we're really, really, really happy with this.
All right. So we're gonna move on. Yes, you didn't get water.
See, now I get to judge how good this water is.
You'll judge how good it is. We also do the Randall Bird sampling, which you drink the water, then drink the whiskey rather than dilute your whiskey.
It's good water.
It's good water. We were just like, it was one of those type of things that like, he's like, try this. And I go, we really do like it. Despite you being my friend, we like it. Now, the next one we're going to try is sort of that same grouping of whiskeys, distilleries that you don't get bottlings of. And almost every time I get a bottling of it from somebody, it's delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the hell don't they, they should be doing it. Fetterkin is, we actually did Fetterkin, and we called it Boba Fetterkin. It was a Star Wars whole thing that we did.
That bottling is the only reason we looked at Fettercairn casks. Fettercairn has never really sat with my palate or Jason's palate. And then I tasted the Boba Fettercairn. It's like,
It's so
God
stupid
damn,
to
it's
say
so
it, though, Boba Fetterkin.
but you got it. It's so good.
But it's so good. He's
but
like, oh my God, I got to have it. It's not Star Wars approved, by the way, just in case you're wondering. But it
yeah.
did. It showed so well. I mean, that was one of the things. Some of these distilleries we talk about that we just talked about. Some of them are a hit and miss. Like Vatican is a hit or miss. It's not consistently like one of my favorites out there, but when they hit, they hit.
They really do. They really do. And it's another one of the, and it's surprising you say that because it's another distillery whose liquid tends to go into a blend. It goes into the White and Mackay blend. And so you would assume it has some degree of consistency, but maybe they just keep what's consistent for the blend and then.
That's right. And then like I think the outliers end out in the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? For anybody to get. So this again is new charred oak barrels for 2 years. So do we have that sort of same issue? It was sort of a neutral barrel, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's probably so. When it comes to the casks in our warehouse, we typically have a lot of information. Sometimes we know exactly what that origin cask was, and sometimes we don't. And when we don't, we just make a pretty good educated assumption that it was a refill cask, that it was some bourbon barrel, bourbon hogshead that just wasn't offering up much flavor. And they either wanted to put the liquid into another direction or just sometimes fix it. Sometimes finishing is fixing. In this particular case, I just happen to know they got a whole bunch of new charred oak. And when I say they, my parent company, so I guess I can now say us. We got a bunch of new. We.
It's not the royal we.
And it was, a lot of just what will this do?
Right.
Right. And the good thing is you can track that. And if you don't like the direction it's going, you can send it in another direction.
Yeah, but the good part of doing the good part about doing like a charred oak barrel is you're changing it with wood. There's no other influence. It's not sherry. It's not port. It's not
just wood.
It's just wood.
Yep.
So it can go awry, but this is just so you guys know, this is I don't think it drinks like this. This is 59.7 ABV. So it's up there, especially for for a Scotch whiskey.
And that ABV and the fact that it doesn't drink like it's so high kind of talks to what Jason and I look for. We're texture guys first and foremost. And so we just want to ensure that if we're bottling stuff that's really high, we want those oils to coat your tongue, protect you from the heat, because it also delivers flavor too, right? It's doing double duty.
Vatican has that like sort of oily, like that texture anyways. And you don't want it to really go away either.
They do some sort of system in their still, this sort of like water cooling system in
Is
their
that what it is?
still that sort of helps with that texture. Yeah.
Really nice. What do you guys think of the Vatican? I like this one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple cases left of this. We bought in pretty good on this one.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Check is in the mail. Good luck with that. Anyways, no, but this is like it again. I think you gave it to me in like a little vial. I mean, we were like, you have to try this one, and he like, it was in the whiskey room upstairs, and it was like, I really felt like there was a drug deal going down. It's like, you got to try this one. You're going to be hooked on this one when you try it. I'm like, well, how much is it? He's like, first taste is free. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't even know what happened. I woke up 2 days later and I'm like, I guess I bought some.
It didn't help that I had one of those jackets. You just got to open it up. And
God, he had clothes on underneath. That was the only thing I was.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Must have been a Tuesday.
Must have been a Tuesday. All right, but who's had this whiskey? Well, even when you really shouldn't say it. Who's had Royal Bracla? Okay. That's a lot.
This is a
wait a minute. You can't count the one you just had. They're tricky like that, though. You got to watch them. Stand it still up. Okay, the Vatican. Have you all had that? Because they've had Boba Vatican. Yeah, there's not a geek in the bunch here. But you bought it for the name, didn't you? Bought it for the yum.
There you go.
Okay. Those are really cool. We tried to make that one. I just found the labels the other day. I was cleaning out the whiskey room.
Yeah.
And I found the labels that we used because the one we had done it looked like a book. You remember?
Yeah,
it was wide,
like
thin. And so it looked like it had that book spine. Mm-hmm. And we actually made the label sort of fit the spine. It would have been the spine of the book.
Did it have Boba Fett on it?
No,
like a
because
profile?
please, the last thing I needed was Disney up my ass on that one. Are you kidding me? No, it did not. Um, but I will just put out that all the Mandalorian and the series all came out after we did it. I don't want to say that, we put them in the limelight, but Boba Fett in the limelight, but it is true.
Here we are,
There we are.
regardless.
But I like that one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're really proud of it. Again, it's another one of those scenarios where we find ourselves in a situation where before joining the artisanal spirits team, we had about 100 casks in our warehouse, and then in a matter of a day, we went to 17,000 casks in our warehouse. Right. And so you start looking at these spreadsheets and seeing what's available. And it's not just a number of distilleries we've never had access to, but you can go really deep in the ages and in the wood type because a lot of the liquid had been historically bought over the past 4 decades. And so it's really remarkable. Like you're a kid in a spreadsheet candy shop.
Yes, Lisa. How do you hone it with all of these casts now? How do you sort of hone into what you want? Is it sort of like you're throwing darts at a spreadsheet? Or are you going like, that would be interesting. Let's see what and then just calling up for some samples of certain ones?
The number of laptops I ruined by throwing that dart at this, just like, oh, God, I went through the screen again.
You print this, we've gone through this before, Josh. You print the spreadsheet first.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it sort of depends. I think when it comes to distilleries we haven't had much access for, we want to go deep in that sample request. Not just to see what the different cask types do, but because we have an understanding of how distillery practices or fermentation practices have changed with these distilleries. So we want to just see how the style has changed. And so part of it is hoping that we find a good cask.
Right.
And a lot of times we do, but part of it is just for our own edification to just get an understanding of that. And then when it comes to the selection of that, a number of things go into play. You know, we need to have an understanding of what we did in the past, whether it's here for the US or some of our export markets. We also have online that we do. Like we always just want to make sure we're keeping the mixed, right? So it's just always new and interesting. And
When you go to do that, just out of curiosity, when you go in and you start looking at these things, do you already know sort of like what it's going to hit the shelf at? I mean, what's the process for like, oh, I really like this cast, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, those are going to be like $500 a bottle. I mean, I'm sure you're hitting some of that. I mean, you can sort of tell up front by age. Like, I might have a problem with this one because it's starting to approach too old, or
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of that, but again, because a lot of this stock had been purchased, you know, historically across the years, we're lucky for that because it was purchased before how, you know, the cost of casks just went
Right.
absolutely crazy. So in many cases, we have a general understanding and we can look at the cask and look at the cost of what that cask is. And the target is, as much as we can, $10 per year.
Okay.
Like that used to be the old school, you
Right.
know, independent bottling target. And that, you know, over COVID, that creeped up, but now we see
also
we can
you
do
had,
it.
you had
So
tariffs in there too,
and tariffs, of course, in
and
there.
then the shipping problems
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
I mean, shipping went like nuts
Yeah.
for quite a while, for like over 6 months, I think.
Oh
Right?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it was a
like
whole
like
global shipping
double the
process.
amount of shipping costs. I mean,
Yep.
it's got to be in there somewhere. You got to figure it out.
Yeah. Yep. But we have a general understanding that for the most part we can hit $10 per year, and when and where we can, we'll go a little less. In some cases, like if we have a 20-something Beaumont or Lafroig, well, then that's going to be a little different.
It's going to be more
Yeah,
expensive. I mean,
yeah,
you
no
sort
doubt
of know
about it.
going in.
Yeah.
But then again, and then that also depends on where you're going to sort of release it. It's going to be a general release. You're going to sort of like go through your club, or you're going to approach somebody like you've approached me and stuff like that.
Yep.
Where it's going to go from there then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's fair enough. First two out of the park, buddy.
Thank you.
Really good. I like them. I like them a
I
lot.
appreciate that.
All right. So the next one we're going to try is the Knock Do.
Ach, do.
Knock Do. Knock Do.
Really
Knock
excited
don't.
for this one.
Knock Do.
Knock maybe.
Maybe. First fill, the finish is Spanish Oak, Oloroso, Hogshead for 3 years.
Yes.
You're getting up there on the finish on that, man.
Yes.
Brother, 3 years. So it's more than just getting. So at 3 years, it's more than just getting what you're going to get out of it for a barrel for the sherry. You're also adding. You're also adding time.
We're adding time, and to be honest, if that were American oak, I would have been perfectly comfortable that going up to 5 years. When it comes to Spanish oak, it's much softer, it's more porous, and it kind of really like throws itself on the spirit much faster than American oak would. So, like typically we tend to like at least 2 years finish, and we've gone up to 8 years finish. Regardless of the time in that finishing cask, the target or the aim is to ensure that the cask adds to the flavor,
right.
but B, it never overtakes the spirit character of that distillery.
You still want that distillation.
We need
it,
that.
right?
Like
come
you
to-
can,
yeah,
you can
hide
throw
stuff,
any
right?
whiskey in a great sherry cask, and it will be a great whiskey, but it may not necessarily be a great example of that distillery.
Okay, that makes sense. I do you sort of do you find that though? I mean, but you got to be also willing. You got to be also willing. Have you ever lost one? In other words, it needs to correct. It needs to correct. It needs to correct, and you go, oh damn, too long, because sometimes the best laid plan of mice and men, you get in there and go, it's got to be 2 years. It's not 2 years. And, it ends up being 3, 4, and it sort of never sort of really hits, and all of a sudden you're into you're into these higher years, and now it's just we're on the other side of that.
So
it's just not gonna do.
Yeah, most of the finishing that we've had access to, or I should say, most of the finished whiskeys we've done are not whiskeys we've finished ourselves. They've been finished casks that we've had access to.
Okay.
So where and when we can control it, we will do that. But when it's a case where this was in the warehouse already, then we taste it and we just go by
Start gauging it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right, just so you guys know, this is a Knock Do. It is, like we said, it's a first fill Spanish Oak Oloroso Hogshead, 3 years in finishing. It's a 9 years old, and it's a 58.4 ABV. What's that? No, I don't think so either. It doesn't. They're saying that it doesn't drink that high.
Yeah, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The one that I want to focus on is Knockdhu Distillery has worm tubs for condensing their spirit, and worm tub distilleries always have that heavier style of spirit that just.
Is this Bruce Gordon?
Yeah, Bruce Gordon.
Yeah, Bruce Gordon. Yeah.
Gordon
Bruce. I do that all the time. I've done that 3 times. Gordon Bruce is like, first of all, he's like a mad scientist.
Yeah.
All right. And most of the stuff you'll see by them is actually not under Knockdhu, it's under Anok. There's a whole thing with the name. I don't even want to get into that. But like he does like these really interesting things, mostly to sustainability. They mostly have to do with sustainability, and not putting as much stress on the environment and distillation as he has to.
Correct.
And we spent an interesting afternoon with him on one of the trips. I've got to see him a couple times, but one afternoon we really got to sort of like really tour the distillery and go through stuff with him, and some of the stuff that he's got going on and some of the stuff he was even thinking about. Of course, Randall and him were like lost, brothers. They were going through and talking about like, well, what is if you did this? And he goes, I hadn't thought of it that way. And then it's going this back and forth, and I'm just like, okay, Geek Club, I'm gonna go drink whiskey. But just some of the stuff it does. But that was one of the things with the worm tubs and stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. There's only 19 distilleries in Scotland that do it, and it's something that I seek out. Like if texture is part of a good whiskey experience, then
this is chewy.
It's chewy. It's
this is chewy.
chewy.
And the finish lasts. I'm still tasting the finish.
The finish doesn't
end. Yeah. It's the never-ending story. I'm not writing a
story.
Don't start. I knew you were gonna start singing.
You can't not. I mean, you gotta.
Because your band's called Kimono Dragon, so I figured I was riding on like a dragon,
Exactly.
singing never-ending story. Do you guys cover that? You should cover that as Kimono Dragon. You should cover. I am
Done.
paying like cash money
Done. I will.
to hear you cover that
I
song.
will. I'll have to do the singing. I've got the higher voice.
You get the higher voice.
Yeah, so I'll do that.
What do you guys think? You know what's great? There is a lot. I mean, that's what we would consider a sherry bomb, right? But you're right. It's not. It's not over. It isn't over sherry with the point as I'm not getting the distillate.
Yeah, with Anna or Nakdu, I've always gotten this like grilled pineapple note in there.
Yeah, there's a
and
tropical note.
and I
Yeah.
still get that here. Yep.
Yeah, that's a lovely whiskey.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. All right. The last one that we're going to try today in front of everybody. Now, he's going to be trying these tonight and stuff like that, but I really like the fact that we're sitting down and actually going through the whole lineup. You guys are actually getting a more of an in-depth view on all the whiskeys without, 20 people behind you wanting to try these too. And the last one that we have is the McDuff.
Yes.
So explain McDuff,
Right.
please.
So McDuff is yet another distillery. They don't have their own bottlings. It's liquid that's meant to go into blend. Speyside Distillery, known for having a really heavy presence to it. This
Is
one,
it squat like distills? I don't know this distillery. That's why. Is it like squatty or stills?
there.
Or is it the cut?
So I haven't been there.
That's
I
just
haven't
like
seen
3
the stills.
questions.
I haven't been there. I haven't seen the stills, but my understanding is, and anybody in here that knows otherwise, please correct me. My understanding is that their stills are a bit more squat, not necessarily like remarkably squat,
Yeah.
but a bit more. But similar to Lagavulin, they fill their stills pretty high,
Okay.
right? And so the spirit comes off the still pretty quickly. So you always have this heavier kind of presence. They're not relying on a ton of reflux going on to lighten up their spirit. They want that heavier style going on.
Okay. So this is a first fill American oak this time, Oloroso Hogshead. 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Picture.
Oh. Yeah, it's not so much the still, it's the
The
yarn
line
arm
go
is
off.
like almost
They go
level.
off to the side.
Yeah, it's
too.
weird. This one goes up and it's like an S. It goes up and over. That's a weird sort of looking still. I'm not, like I said, I was unfamiliar with the distillery.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an oddball.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I don't
love
see
it.
that much. But you know what's weird about that picture? They had plenty of room
Plenty of room.
to do like a lot of them. It's like you
Yeah.
look and you go. I know exactly why.
Yes.
You look at the ceiling and you look at where the line arm
Right.
goes. You go,
Yeah.
oh, I know why, because they ran out of room, and
Or look at the old
necessity's
Pulteney
the
skill,
yeah,
still
exactly.
that's
It's
cut off.
cut
at the
off.
top. Yeah.
and then comes out the side. But that's a different. This is 16 years old. It is 57.5.
Yep.
You're starting getting up in age. That's still a high ABV for that old. I mean,
Yeah, for
sometimes they
sure.
start dropping.
Yeah. I can't necessarily explain that. I will say, you've got distilleries like Glenfarclas and Tamdhu
Mhm.
who have been known to fill their casks at 68-70%
Right.
alcohol. And sometimes distilleries are doing that because they don't have enough wood for this amount of spirit they have. Sometimes they do it specifically for flavor reasons. So
Yep.
I can't talk to that, unfortunately.
Mm.
I mean, I can make stuff up, but I'm not going to.
Usually do. On that flavor, man, that finish is really different. How about like
Savory.
honeyed oatmeal or something like that?
Right? It's that, but there's salt in that oatmeal,
Yeah.
right? There's like a savory quality coming through with that sweetness.
Yeah, there is definitely there's some. That's a different finish on that, brother. And almost like a buttery. What did I say it was? 50 something.
57.5. Doesn't drink that way.
No, it doesn't drink hot. That's for certain.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
This is the kind of whiskey.
it's a
You
thinking
gather-
man's whiskey, a thinking person's whiskey.
I think it's a thinking person's whiskey, but I would also say like spring is almost here. Light fires outside. Put chairs around the fire and just pass the bottle. This is just like fireside Sharon whiskey.
Well, the bottle is actually the only vessel that's approved by the distillery to drink out of.
Right?
And see it now. 50, 57. I mean, I don't care. You're kicking that back. Really
Mhm.
good though. I like this one a lot. I think this is gonna. I think tonight I want to see what it gets out because I think there's gonna be a lot of surprise people on this one. I don't think they're like I don't know enough about McDuff Distillery on
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah.
So I'm walking in with no expectations
Okay.
whatsoever on this one.
I
But it's
kinda
really
like that.
nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
We aim for surprise.
Well, you did it. Mark it up. What do you guys
Surprise
think of the McDuff? What do you think? Yeah, you like it a lot.
Awesome.
All right, it's not
Yeah.
kicking it out of bed.
Thank
He
you.
said,
No.
so that's good.
There you go.
Not bad. It's not bad. Well, I can't say that because Joshua lives in Connecticut, which we barely allow in New England. But
We're the Constitution state. Need I remind
you're a state of something. Anyways, no, but that's the highest compliment you can get because we only use negatives to give a positive in New England.
That's true.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Why didn't you just say good? No, because it's
Because
not
it's not
bad.
bad. It's not
All
bad.
right, whatever. So it doesn't suck is the highest praise. But no, that is really nice. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's next? Where are you guys going with this new sort of like partnership?
Yep.
Right? Are you like unlimited to what you could do? Is there a direction that you guys want to go in?
Yeah. So
Tell who your partner is too, because he's such a nice guy too.
yeah. So Jason Johnston Yellen, he's a Scotsman, born in Ayr, moved to the U.S. 20 years ago. He met a girl. He fell in love with football, American football, and then met a girl and fell in love with her too. And
There you go.
there you go.
As long as she didn't play football, I think we're okay.
She did
man.
not play
football. Oh, all right. I thought we were going to go full circle.
But when we were in our discussions with ASC Artisanal Spirits about acquiring us, it was really important to us that we were still in charge of the brand and wanted to do the things that there were a number of things that we wanted to do but couldn't do because we were just two guys working other jobs doing
Right.
other things. And they said, no, you don't understand. We're not buying Single Cask Nation because the brand. Yes, the brand is good, but we're buying it because of you and what we know you guys do good stuff. So please do the stuff that you've been wanting to do. So with that said, I mean, obviously growing this, that's first and foremost, but there's a number of different blending projects that we're really keen on getting involved in. And there's one in particular that, fingers crossed, if everything comes together, it's going to be pretty big and it's going to bring a very cool name attached to it.
Nice.
So I'll leave that there.
All right. All right. Let's beat him up afterwards. We'll get the answer. Okay. All right. That's a good idea, Johnny. Johnny on the spot came up with a really good idea. Well, because we have the four. Which one? Josh, you put your hand or hold them up and see which one.
So Royal Broccola, raise your hand if this was your favorite whiskey of the tasting.
You can't vote for more than one.
Yeah, if you raise your hand twice, you're doing it wrong.
Okay. Those are the people went, wait a minute.
So,
yeah, I vote for all four. Yeah.
but I love that so many people really dug the Broccola.
That's really cool because we only got like 2 bottles of that left.
Fettercairn, 11-year-old.
No.
Wow.
You guys are nuts. I know.
Okay. But you.
It's his other hand.
Wow. Well
My
done.
other hand.
Well done.
Well played, sir. Well played.
He just got out of jail free right
I know,
there.
right there,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah.
You always have to put like whenever I ask a question now, I feel like I always have to put stipulations.
Right.
Because I've been down this road.
Oh, yeah,
It's my other hand.
People look for caveats.
Yeah, that's right.
Nachdu, 9-year-old.
Yeah.
All right.
The baby in the back says yes. She's teething. She's teething, I hope. All right.
All right. And then last but not least, Macduff. Wow.
I know.
Royal Broccola was the most prized one.
Yeah. I'm shocked.
As someone who really prefers Scotch whiskey being matured in second use casks, and assuming everybody just wants the dark stuff, that like warms my heart more than you guys could ever know. That's awesome.
I know there's only a couple. We tried to order another case. They don't have any.
They don't have any.
They don't have any. It's gone.
Yep.
Are we doing any more Royal Blanc? We got some more coming.
There will be some Royal
All right.
Brackle coming.
Listen, I want to thank you for stopping by today and
My
doing this.
pleasure.
Really, really good.
Pleasure. Thank you all.
And you're gonna have a blast tonight.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's
Really
gonna be a
looking
lot of
forward.
fun tonight. And of course tomorrow the Grand Dram. I think we're reaching like 400 or so people for Sunday. So
Man, oh man,
yeah, you might need some of that. But I want to thank everybody else for coming today. I'm going to take this off. As always, you can find this on Julio's Liquors Facebook page, these live videos. And they also get moved over to It's the Liquor Talking podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, such as Spotify. And we're YouTubers now. You can also get it look up It's the Liquor Talking on YouTube. So take a look if you're having trouble sleeping at night. These are really great to watch. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Facebook. You should have been here. It was awesome.